Hi everyone, it's Leilani. Welcome back to my channel. So today, friends, we are back at another journal with me video. And before we get started, I want to let you guys know that this will actually be my last journal with me video for a while. So as we chit chat throughout the video, I will kind of explain myself a little bit more, but we'll get there as we go. This is a pretty long video today, clocking it in at over 30 minutes because we are going to be finishing up all of my pages for June, and I think it was 12 total pages. So I was way behind, and we are going to really cover a lot of ground and get June completely done, which feels so amazingly good. So we're starting off here with the 7th and the 8th and the 9th. Now, these were 3 pages. If you remember in my previous Journal With Me video, I actually had skipped these 3 pages and moved on to some that were past these days. And that was simply because I didn't have like photos for some of these days. I wasn't sure what I was going to document for these days. I didn't feel that prepared. And so I thought, okay, let's just move ahead to the other ones where I had like definite things to document. And then I knew that I would come back and do these. Well, did I do these on my own time? Absolutely not. I didn't. So we've got to finish them here together today. So just like I typically do, as I've mentioned many times in my video, I'll grab out those little mini Post-it notes and I'll just jot down a thing or two about each day. And those help me a lot to stay on track because some days looking through my pictures on my phone or something just doesn't cut it because a lot of days I don't take any photos. So it just helps me to at least jot down a couple things about each day, something that I could potentially make some content about on my page. So for instance, for the 8th here, I printed off a few of my upcoming BFF stickers. So you're getting a little bit of a sneak peek here at some of these stickers. These were some that I made earlier in the month that are birthday themed. So I just printed these off myself just from the actual image that I drew on my iPad. And then I printed them off on sticker paper. So I'm just adding those in here because I wanted to talk on this page all about how I've been working behind the scenes on some stickers and things like that. So I went ahead and created one of those little color blobs up in the like upper right hand corner there, just so I'd have a place to house the stickers. Now I know they kind of are sticking out of that blob and everything, like they're hanging out of it. That doesn't bother me. I just wanted to kind of corral them in somewhat, and then I would have an obvious place to add my title and my journaling. So that works out pretty good for me. And then over here for the 7th, this was a day, the main day that I didn't know what I was going to talk about. All I had written on the sticky note was coffee date with mom and tried out the new couch or something like that. So what I ended up doing is I just kind of decided that I would do a large title, or I would just try to fill in that right side of the spread there with words. So that's what I'm doing. And I essentially just write exactly what was on my sticky note. So you'll see that I have coffee date with mom and tried out new couch. So me and Will got a new couch right around this time. And this was the first time that either me or Will, I can't remember. I think this was a time where I just went in there in the morning and was like hanging out on the couch. See, this is why you need to write more notes so that I would know exactly what I was talking about. But I'm pretty sure that that's what it was. And I obviously had a coffee date with my mom. So since I knew that I had gone out to get coffee with her, I just looked on Instagram and I found a cute little image there from just an illustrator on Instagram. And I added that into my hobo as well. And it just says, I need a fancy coffee or I will freak out, which was kind of the theme of the month here for June, because since my mom was very newly retired, May 31st was her last official day at work. So June we kind of went a little crazy. We hung out like practically every day, and we always left like every morning to go get a coffee, to run to Target, to run little errands. It was so much fun. Not to say that we won't still be doing things like that, but we're trying to just like take a little step away from that because it was getting a bit out of hand, but it was really, really fun. So even though I didn't end up adding any like journaling on the 7th, I really love the way that ended up looking with just like the large title. And I think it's something different, and I enjoyed it a lot. So then over on the 8th, since I did have so many words on the 7th, I decided to use my wooden stamp set, the same one that I have been using many, many times throughout my hobo for this entire year. So I just grabbed it out with some of my Catherine Pooler inks there, and I'm just spelling out new BFF stickers. Sticker designs. That's what I'm putting. And then I'm just mostly going to add in my journaling all about that. So as I kind of put all of those things into place, I will chit chat with you a little bit about my decision to actually take a bit of a break from the Hobonichi. So yes, I have decided that since I used an Avec Hobonichi notebook for this year, this book just runs January to June, and then you pick back up on the second little notebook from July through December. Now, I have decided to take a break and to not start that new Avec notebook for July through December. Now, there's a few reasons why, but the main one is just that I feel as though I'm a little burnt out. So I did the Hobonichi last year from April until December, and now I've done it from January through June. So I have been working out of a hobo for a little, a year or so, or maybe a little over. And it's been a really, really fun experience. And whenever I'm watching myself work on it, here, like in this video, I really think it's fun. It is a totally different form of memory keeping for me because I get to draw a lot, or at least not necessarily draw, but draw the big titles. You have just like a very journal-y aspect, and I've always loved to journal ever since I've been young. I love just pasting all the things in and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I've got to say that with my current time that I have allotted for working on scrappy things, I just feel like the hobo is taking up a lot of that time whenever I'm actually kind of burnt out and don't necessarily always want to be working on it. So I feel like if I was super inspired, just the way that I work, I wouldn't get so behind on the Hobonichi because I'm like a very like up to date scrapbooker, and even 12 days behind is kind of a lot for me. And whenever it's time to work on it, I find that I'm putting it off. I'm not really that interested in doing it, and I am looking for an excuse to not have to deal. So I think that that's telling me that I think it's time to just take a little break. I already do Project Life every week, and that is something that I really look forward to doing. And like I was saying, I only have a certain amount of time right now for crafty stuff. I'm trying to work on my house a lot. I have a lot of time that I'm trying to spend with family. I have a lot of things going on right now. So I would love if I could work on my Project Life every week and then do a few different projects that I have in my mind, and I don't have to spend so much time on the Hobonichi. So unfortunately, I am going to take a break. If you're really into these Hobonichi videos, I do apologize, but you never know. I might pick it back up at some point. But for now, I just think that that's the best decision for me. But of course, I will still be posting other videos on here, and I have a lot of other ideas and things that I'm hoping to put over here and to work on throughout the coming months. So as we've moved on to the 9th here, this was the only other page in those really early in the month pages that I was behind on. So here I just added that VW bug down there to the bottom because me and Will had a day out and about. So I just thought driving in the car, I would add that. I like that it was blue and it kind of matched the page there on the 10th where I wrote about lasagna. So I like the way that worked out, and I just ended up titling it Happy Day. I added that big bando heart sticker, and then I had my journaling there just about our day. Me and Will had a really good day. We got out and about. We had a whole date day. We went and got food, and we went thrifting. We did so much stuff, but I didn't get any pictures. It was one of those days where I just totally spaced on that and did not get any photos. So boo on me, but I still wanted to document it. I did make like a little subtitle that says, "And Will loves his desk," because I had picked out a new desk for him. We're redoing our TV room, and that kind of doubles as Will's kind of hangout room. And I picked out a desk for him, and I was just really happy because I wanted it to aesthetically look a certain way. I wanted it to fit in the space as good as I could get it, but I also wanted a desk that would be really functional for him and something that he would like and actually use. And he's mentioned several times how much he loves it. So that was a win and made me feel really, really good. So now we've skipped ahead a lot of pages here, and we are going to just finish the 22nd through the end of the month. So for this day, I have this kind of larger photo here. I printed it off as a 3x4, but I did take the background out. So I use the Photo Room app to do that, and it takes the background out of your photo. But I do know that you can also do that on an iPhone. I think just whenever you take your photo, you can edit it and you have that option. So there's always ways to do that, but I really like the effect of that in some type of book like a Hobonichi or a journal or a junk journal where you kind of take that entire background out. I think that looks kind of cool. So this was just a snapshot of me and lasagna, and I wanted to give a bit of a lasagna update here because at this point, he had fully recovered from his sickness that he had. So earlier in the month, if you guys missed it, my cat Lasagna had an upper respiratory issue, and we had to take him to the vet. Now, at this point, we thought that he was a girl. I've had him for 2 years now, and so we'd always thought that he was a girl. We had taken him in to get fixed January of 2023, and we were told that he did not have a uterus, so he couldn't get fixed. And that was because he, in fact, was a boy. So I didn't find this out until this month. But also, besides that, he did have to get fixed and everything. And also, he was very sick. So he had to take antibiotics. He had to stay inside for about maybe a week and a half, and of course recover from his surgery and all of that. But he was doing absolutely wonderful after that, and he's back to his normal shenanigans and his normal self. So I wanted to give a bit of a lasagna update there. Also that day, me and my parents watched TV together and hung out, so I added that into my journaling as well. Moving on to the next couple days, you can see that I again have grabbed my sticky note. Now, all I had written for these days was the 23rd was flowers and the 24th was shelf. So I only had one word down for each of those days, but I knew that I would be able to have some journaling to go along with that. So for the 23rd, I knew that I wanted to talk about flowers because me and my mom, whenever we ran our errands or got out of the house that day, we decided that we wanted to go to Whole Foods to get a couple bouquets of flowers to put around our house. So I don't know if you guys are like this, but I love to give myself a little treat or a little incentive to maybe clean the house or do something that I don't necessarily want to do. So sometimes even just buying new cleaning supplies will make me kind of be more excited to clean. And so in this case, we thought, oh, let's get some flowers. And then we were both going to kind of clean up our kitchens and our living room that day. So me and my mom are really good about that, motivating each other. And we always kind of know each other's plans for the day. So a lot of times we might mimic each other if that works out. So we decided, let's go get flowers and then we'll clean up our houses. So we're neighbors, if you guys didn't know. So anyways, so we grabbed some flowers from Whole Foods and did our other errands that morning. And then also I took all of these pictures of these beautiful daylilies that my dad had planted for me and Will. So I had just a lot of flower photos at this point. So I printed off a couple of them at the 1.5 by 2 inch size, which is typically the rectangle size that I pop in here to this notebook. And of course, I printed it off on the sticker paper as I always do. I added another large title, and this was strategic because of course I'm trying to do a lot of pages in one sitting. So anything that could help me kind of move the process along, I was all for that. And I really liked the way that the large titles looked anyways, but it also helped me. Plus, as I've mentioned, if I only have one word descriptors of the day. It was going to be harder to talk about that day in my journaling. So any real estate that I could fill up with stickers, photos, titles, I was all for it. So here I just titled it So Many Flowers, and then I said daylilies and tulips, and then I'll just go ahead and write a little bit about my day there, but you can see that I don't have a lot of space for journaling, which is perfect. Over here on the 24th, I do have a picture of a shelf that has floated around my house many, many times, and me and my dad painted it with some spray paint, and it was this nice bright teal color. Now, someone in my comments asked why I color in my entire square behind my photos whenever I'm going to be covering it up, and the answer is, I don't know. I just do. But on this one, I did not, so I tried it out. And that's fine too. I just typically don't think about it. Honestly, I'm always kind of multitasking, watching a show on my computer while I'm working away. And I honestly just don't think about it that much. But this time I tried it. I think I go back to my old ways eventually, but that works out as well. If you want to save some of your marker juice there, you don't have to fill in your whole background if you don't want to. So there I'm adding on my journaling on the 23rd, adding in a couple little lines just to fill in that space, and then back over to the 24th about this shelf. So actually, me and my dad painted this shelf, and it really needed a fresh coat of paint for sure, and we moved it from our TV room into our kitchen, and I wanted to use it as a cookbook holder because I'm kind of moving things around in the kitchen. We're getting some work done in our kitchen later in the month, so I wanted a new place to put our cookbooks, and we have a pretty decent collection of them. So we painted it, put it in there. I loved it. Well, then later on throughout the month, you will see as we go, I decided to repaint the kitchen. So I painted it a mint green, and that color of that bookshelf all of a sudden just kind of clashed a little too much. So I ended up repainting that shelf, the mint green, the same color as the walls. So it actually only stayed this color for probably less than a week. But of course, I still had to document it here in my Hobonichi. So I have a picture of the shelf there. I was very proud of myself at the time, although it already looks different. But now I'm adding in my title. So again, since I had the really large title over there on the 23rd, I decided on the 24th to just make a smaller title, a different looking title with my stamps. So I added in new shelf, and then I'm going to do my typical kind of underlining with the arrow kind of thing, which I do quite a bit, and then add in my little doodles. I also added in some star doodles and a sticker from Bando that said enjoy the ride. I decided to put that sentiment just because I am changing a lot in the house and I'm trying to have fun with it while I'm doing it. But I'm definitely in that mode of wanting to kind of go through all my stuff, declutter, upgrade things that I can, paint things, just do all that kind of stuff. And that's another reason why I ended up wanting to take a break from my Patreon because it took up a lot of my time. I did a lot of videos over there, and it did take up like so much of my weeks to do all of my Patreon videos and all of my YouTube videos. I would do 12 videos a month on Patreon and then 8 videos a month on YouTube. So it was a lot of time and energy, and it was so much fun. But at this point, at this season of my life, as we say, I really want to be able to work on some other projects. So I would love to have more time just to clean my house, hang out with my mom, run errands with her, and also do these house projects. So that's why I've kind of cut down on my videos and stuff, because I'm simply just trying to take it all in and enjoy other things right now, as well as crafting. Although I still plan on definitely still crafting and still sharing as much content as possible. So here you can see on the opposite side, I just did want to point out the fact that I did not color in that entire background of the green. You can see that there's a little white, you can see the green is ghosted, and then there's like a white square inside the green. Now, honestly, I think that that would bother me if I wasn't going to cover it up because I would rather it just be all green for whatever reason. I think it's just something that I'm used to. So I just noticed that. And to me, it makes it stand out more. I hope that even makes sense because I feel like that's just a total nitpicky thing that's like in my mind. But since it did go so bad, I knew that I was going to pop another photo directly on top of that. So you can see that I'm just using that green as a kind of template there. And now I'm coloring in my pink. Again, I didn't color the whole thing in. And then I'm going to pop my photo in place. And then I will decorate the other side as well, like a little background. So for the 25th and the 26th, I decided to do a before and after. So this is essentially one story, but I did work on my laundry room, I guess technically a couple days. I did most of the painting one day, but then I did go back in the second day and did some of the styling and things like that. But still on a roll at this point, wanting to work on the house. So this particular day, I ended up going in and painted our laundry room. So I have several rooms in the house that I want to repaint, or the laundry room really had never been painted. It's always been just white ever since we moved in here. And that's very unusual for me. I'm a big color person and I have color all over the house. So before I repainted our bedroom or our living room or these really big rooms, I thought that I would tackle the laundry room. So I had to go in there, I had to clean it out. So the before picture is actually after I cleaned it. I cleaned out the big cabinets that were above the washer and dryer, all that kind of stuff. And then I painted the entire laundry room all by myself, by the way. And then I also hung up some peel and stick wallpaper. I put that on the cabinet doors and just got some new curtains, a new rug, things like that, just to refresh that space. And it has been so super nice to have it painted. So I wanted to do a before and after. So I added in my little photos. And then of course I'm adding in my before and after titles. I did add a lot of washi to this one to again fill in that space. And at this point I'm trying to figure out, okay, what else can I put on here to fill up some of the space? Because I'm like, there's a lot of room here to journal. And I had some stuff that I wanted to talk about, but not like a ton. So I'm going to add on the little yellow blobs here that are kind of my subtitles, if you will. And then I decide to grab out another marker and I'm going to do like almost like a border around the area that I'll be journaling. It kind of reminded me of my reading journal borders. And I thought that that just helped to kind of give me a certain area where I will actually add in the journaling. And it kind of cut down on at least some of the real estate of journaling. And I did still have some things I wanted to say. Definitely, I want to talk about the house and all the things that I want to work on. But you can see that I cut down on some of the space there. So I just grabbed that nice mint color and then I'm going to outline those as well. And then I will add my journaling. So yes, this has been a definite time of, I still kind of have that spring cleaning bug, I guess, where I just have all of these things in my mind that I want to work on around the house. And I do have the time to do it. And that's why whenever I'm really feeling this way, I want to take advantage of it, and do some of those projects that have been long forgotten. So the laundry room is definitely one of those. Like I said, it's been just white forever. I never painted it. It's been so neglected. It was just an easy catch-all room for me. And the thing is, laundry is never ending. It's something that, you have to do constantly. And I would so much rather be in an aesthetic space that I enjoy. So I'm just so happy to have that upgraded for sure. So at this point, we only had 4 pages left. So in real life, I took a little break, walked around, got myself a drink, all that kind of stuff, and then came back refreshed and ready to tackle these last 4 pages in my hobo for this entire insert. So I was really happy about that. So I'm adding in my washi as always. That's the first thing that I do. Then I'll grab my sticky note, figure out what it is that I'm going to be talking about. And of course, before I turned the camera on, I went through all my sticky notes and printed off all of my photos at the same time so that I would be ready to go. So while I was working on this, I had it on Netflix, and lately I've been watching all of these documentary series on Netflix. So did anyone else watch the America's Sweetheart documentary all about the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders? You guys, was so invested in the lives of these girls. I mean, far too invested. I ate that documentary up. I absolutely loved it. It was so interesting to me and so entertaining. I'm a documentary lover, so anything that is like well made and, slightly interesting, I'm all for. I love seeing all of the older clips of previous Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, and it was so interesting. And this is coming from someone who absolutely has zero interest in cheerleading. So, I really, really liked that. So I watched that the other day. Today, though, I was watching the new docuseries on there that was like The Man with 1,000 Children or something. And that one was a doozy. So I won't even get into all the ins and outs, but if that sounds intriguing to you, turn it on Netflix. It was definitely very interesting, a wild ride, but I watched all of those episodes while I was working on the hobo. So that is something that I definitely love, love, love to do whenever I'm trying to knock out a project. Is I always have some interesting show on, or I have like an audiobook on or something like that, so that I can really like just kind of lose myself in that and then get my project completed. So now moving on to the 27th, I've still been dealing with some doctor health stuff this month, but so I had to go get a spleen ultrasound on the 27th. It was very simple, easy, and everything I believe looked fine from what I could tell. I do go back to my primary care this upcoming week to kind of go over everything, but I did get that out just to kind of rule out a couple things that she wanted to check. So I got that done. So that was kind of the main thing there for the 27th that I was going to be talking about. I added on that sticker from the washi sticker book that said tough cookie because I had to go get that done. I had to go to the hospital, all that kind of stuff. And also couldn't eat or drink. The drinking part was just so torturous after midnight the night before. And my thing was at 10 a.m. and I wake up at like hours before that, and I was so thirsty. But got that done. So adding in my journaling there. Then over on the 28th, I was able to see one of my best friends, Shelby. So that was lovely. So I added 2 photos, one with her and then one of her house, because one of the main things that I was doing while hanging out with her was getting to see her brand new, beautiful house. So I made the title Seeing Shelb, and then I am going to do an additional stamped title underneath it that says, and her beautiful home, or beautiful new home. That's what I say. And then I'll add in a little bit of journaling. So also besides watching those shows, I was going to mention, I think I do talk about it here on the next couple pages, but that's okay. Whenever I was painting a bunch, I've been listening to a ton of audiobooks. So I listened to a couple shorter audiobooks and finished up a couple things that I was really trying to complete whenever I was working in the laundry room. And then whenever I decided to paint the kitchen, which we're going to talk about here on the 30th, while I was painting the kitchen mint green, I listened to The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley, one of the new books, the big new summer thrillers. Now, I haven't finished it yet. I'm intrigued, but I don't know. I was having a little bit of trouble getting into it, but I'm hoping that I'm going to enjoy it. I still have a little bit left to go, maybe an hour or so on the audiobook, so we shall see. But that was also really fun while I was painting, was just listening to these books. I know that whenever I was really, really into painting last year, I painted some of our living room and was painting some furniture and stuff, and I was just like really into it for a few days. I went through, I think, like four Frida McFadden books, because those things you can fly through. I call those popcorn thrillers because you don't have to think much and you can just fly through them. So I was really, really into that. So this one I've had to kind of pay more attention to for the Midnight Feast. There's a lot of characters and stuff, so I'm trying to like pay attention to who we're talking about, but still very fun to listen to an audiobook while I'm painting. And it's been a great way to get caught up on some of my reading. So speaking of reading, on the 29th, the big thing that I wanted to talk about here was book club. So after my Patreon disassembled there, which was really sad, one of the things that we were kind of most bummed about was not having the book club. So a group of us that were really into the book club before have stayed together, and we are trying to continue it. So if anyone is interested in doing the book club, you can always let me know over on Instagram, and I will get the info to you. But it is really fun, and it's a great way to read typically we read cozy mysteries or some sort of book like that. And we got together and talked about our book of the month, which was The Most Agreeable Murder, or A Most Agreeable Murder, and it was a really good one. So that was fun. So I do have a picture of the Zoom there on the 29th, and then on the 30th, I do another one of the large titles, of course, to finish off everything. And it says Painting the Kitchen Mint Green. So I have a couple pictures there. It's very hard to see because it is a light color. But so I'm just going to add in my journaling, and then I'll add little bits and pieces over there all about the book club meeting as well. So after I finish both of these, we will be done with this insert. And I can't even tell you how happy that makes me, even though like I said, have been kind of wanting to take a little break from the hobo and getting a little burnt out. I love to have a completed book, a completed album. That's just who I am. So it was really going to get under my skin here if I did not finish these last few pages of June. So it feels really, really good to have it done. And I am a little sad to not be working on the hobo for the rest of the year. But there's only so much time that we have, in the day. And I just really want to devote it to some other crafty projects. And I always feel like, project life is a given for me. But if I have some extra time, I always feel guilty, like, oh, I need to work on the hobo because I don't want to get, too terribly behind on it. That's the thing about this is with a daily pages, you can get behind so quickly. So I always feel like, oh, no, I need to work on that. So I'll end up working on the hobo instead of a different project that I might want to work on more. And that's where it's almost like if you're reading a book that you don't like, do you DNF it or do you just power through, So I tried to power through for the rest of this insert and for this 6-month span, but I think we're going to have to DNF the rest of the year and just call it a win for getting it half done. So here I'm going to give you a bit of a flip through of just an up close of all the pages that we worked on today. It feels so amazing. So thank you so much for following along with me, listen to me ramble and watching me doodle on all these pages to get these 12 Hobonichi spreads done. It feels so amazing. And again, this is the last one that I'm going to be sharing over here for quite a while. So I hope you enjoy. And of course, I'll be back with plenty of other content though as we go. So if you did enjoy this video, please give me a like and please also consider subscribing. And of course, I will be back to chat with you super soon. Have a great day, friends. Bye, y'all.